Hello and welcome to the demonstration portion of the Career Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Roten, and on today's show, I'm speaking with Nick Francioso from SkillSyncer. And if you have not yet listened to our podcast portion of the show, I encourage you to head on over to iTunes or Spotify or Google Play, wherever or whatever your favorite podcast player is, so you can go and download that, where you can get some high-level details of the product, why it was created to begin with, which I think is a pretty fascinating story myself, and then obviously come back, tune in to this. And with that, I'm going to introduce you to Nick Francioso from SkillSyncer.
Hey, how's it going, guys and girls? I'm going to go ahead and show you this SkillSyncer tool. We'll go ahead and bring up the home page here.
Perfect.
And show you what you're presented with when you first get to skillsyncer.com. So this is the home page here. You'll be presented with kind of an outline of what SkillSyncer is. It's a platform for job seekers that intelligently scans a job description and identifies missing skills and keywords from your resume. This helps you land your resume in the hands of a human and beat those robots. So you can either see a sample scan or learn more. We'll skip the sample scan to when we actually get into the product overview, but we'll go ahead and click on learn more here. So this will bring you down to the 3 steps on how SkillSyncer optimizes a resume. Step 1, we will take a resume and upload it. The upload function takes in Windows Word document file, either the .docs or .docx, PDF or text, and you can also copy and paste that in. Step 2 for the process is you will find a job description if you already have it or interested in applying for it. You'll copy and paste that into the second text box. Step 3 is you click the scan button and you'll be presented with a informative feedback on your match score and a resume report.
Yeah, and I highly recommend when you do that, make sure it's a relevant job description, because otherwise your score is going to be really low.
Right. And
as I found from personal experience when I just randomly selected a job description.
And I picked a job description that I feel I'm comfortably qualified for, but you'll notice that my score is very low, and ways of why that is.
Okay, perfect.
So you can click on register and you register completely free, and you receive 1 free scan a week. So there's a free tier. You don't have to worry about paying anything. You could either log in with your Facebook account, Google account, or LinkedIn. If not, sign up with your email. Once you sign up, you'll be presented with the dashboard screen here. It'll look a little bit different for new users, as you won't see any recent scans because you obviously haven't done any yet. But to give you a high level of the dashboard here, you'll see the type of account you have. This one free account. You'll see that you have scans left. For a new user, you'll have 1 scan left and an additional scan every week after that. You'll see how many scans you did today and how many total scans you did overall. Also, you have your most recent scans right here on the homepage. So as you can see here, I've been maybe applying to some of these positions or kind of just testing out the program, whatever you want to think. But you'll also see that it actually shows you the score. We'll get into that when I show the match report, the company and the job title for the position that you're applying for, some text for the resume and some text for the job posting, and then some little statistics over here with resume word count, hard skills count, soft skills count, and other skills count. Kind of a data person, so I like seeing numbers. So
yeah. Now you mentioned so scans left. You said you get 1 a week with the free account. Is that every 7 days? Is that every business 5 days? How many? Just how
right.
often do people?
So it's based on the day anniversary. So if you signed up on a Tuesday, you'll get 1 new scan next Tuesday. If you signed up on a Thursday, you'll get a new scan next Thursday.
Okay, cool. Sounds simple.
Right. So you got those free scans. So what we'll do here is we'll go through actually how to scan your resume. So you have 2 options. You can either scroll down on this dashboard and be presented with the 3 steps, or you can actually click the scan button at the top. So we'll go ahead and click the scan button.
Yeah, and just FYI, for those who've already exceeded their limits for the week, you actually don't see the scroll below. You actually get a button that says you don't have any scans left.
Right. Got to add that in there so people know that there's nothing missing there just because there's no scans left. So you won't.
Yeah, perfect. Makes sense. And then, of course, if you want more scans, if you need to do another one and you don't want to wait a week, you can also unlock the unlimited scans option for, I think you said $9.99.
Yep, that's $9.99 for a month, and it includes unlimited as well as 3 premium features, and we'll get into those as well during the rest of the demo. So here, 3 simple steps like we talked about on the homepage. Step 1, upload or paste your resume. Step 2, copy and paste the job posting you're applying for. And then when you're ready, go ahead and click the scan. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and upload. So ATS systems take in a variety of files, text files, PDF files, Word documents, but there's actually a recommended format. Unfortunately, I'm going against that and doing a PDF. It's recommended that you use a Word file. They're a lot easier to parse, so the technology needed is a little crazy when you get into PDF files and formatting, and you could get some distorted results. So to be on the safe side,
if I could interrupt you real quick, you said Word. Does it matter if it's a .doc older version or a .dox, or is it the same?
For this program, for SkillSyncer, it doesn't matter, but you'll want to
Okay.
make sure that when you apply for a position that career portal accepts those files.
Okay.
And they'll mention them as well when you apply for a position when you're uploading it. But for the purpose of parsing, .doc and .docx are the easiest to parse. You'll be better off submitting that file format because your text will be extracted properly. There's a lot of variables with font and format that you can get a little bit of distorted results. So you want to make sure that when you submit this file to an ATS system, that the best results go into the system.
Perfect.
So I have a PDF here, which works perfectly fine with my program, but some ATS systems are a little bit legacy and they don't like PDFs. And this program will go ahead and parse your resume and paste it into here just as if you were to copy and paste it.
Yeah, it looks good.
So I already got a job here, a job from Google actually for a software engineer position. So what you want to do is just go ahead and copy everything, including the job title and company name.
Okay.
And the requirements, responsibilities, the qualifications as well. So pretty much everything that's relevant to that job posting. Just
Okay.
copy
And
it.
then I assume anything that's not your software just kind of ignores it.
Right. So there's sometimes that it'll pick up words, like the bio of a company, you'll want to leave that out because there's some words and text in there that might throw off the match score.
Okay.
So if it has a company bio, just leave the company bio out because it's irrelevant to obviously the position. It's just telling you about the company.
Okay.
So go ahead and paste that job posting into the second box here. Go ahead and click on scan. It takes a few seconds for it to run through the algorithm and parse and scan and get the report here. So what you'll see here is it's bringing up the match score and report. Okay. So you'll see here that I have a horrible match score for this position. Now, this is the biggest discouragement to job seekers that use this kind of platform because they're like, you know what, I'm done. I don't like this program. But this program's here to help refine and tailor your resume to that position.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that when you see the score, then you're using it for the wrong reason, right? I mean,
exactly.
You shouldn't assume I'm going to log in and get 100.
Exactly. And on top of it, it not only helps you tailor your resume, it lets you know, because you know your skills the best, that if this is really just not a good match score, sometimes it's best not even to waste your time if you don't want to go through the whole application process, because you realize that, after seeing all the skills pulled out, that there's a ton of things that they're looking for that you just don't have. Now, you can take the chance and go for it, but do realize that your match score for that company, when they actually pull up your resume, the applicant tracking system is not going to see you as a strong match compared to other people that may have those keywords and skills. So we'll start off here. The match score is 37, pretty poor. Total is out of 100. So from my interviews with software engineers and programmers that have worked on these programs, the applicant tracking system likes to see a score of about an 80 or higher, kind of around that range, to give you a competitive edge for that position so that the applicant tracking system is not going to kick you out automatically. Because I'm sure the viewers here have seen either an email within 10, 15 minutes, maybe an hour or a day, and they wonder, did a human even look at this? Which the answer is probably 90% of the time, no.
Right. And that's just going to be more and more that way.
Right, as technology advances and companies adopt these software programs. So you'll see here that the SkillSyncer actually was able to pull out that you're applying for a position at Google as a software engineer. If for whatever reason this is incorrect, you can easily go in here and delete it and update it. So as you type in, you'll see all the other company names come up. So if that pulled in something wrong, You can always change it. And this is going to be key for our new enhancement that we're working on. We're going to actually give applicant tracking tips specifically for the organizations and the ATS systems that they use, because there's hundreds of ATS systems and each and every one is different. So the different ways of uploading a resume, different formatting rules, it's going to be completely different. So this is going to be important once we get that released. So keep an eye out for that.
Cool.
So what we'll do here is we'll go to the job match report. So that match score is only computed from what's in the job match report.
Okay.
So you have these 5 key categories: hard skills, soft skills, other keywords, job title, and degree. So you'll see that it outlines that I'm missing 30 important hard skills on my resume. Obviously, I'm not going to go copy and paste these and throw them in my resume, because that's completely wrong, and you could be lying about your experience. So what you want to do is look at these keywords, and actually you can click on them and see where they are in your resume, or I'm sorry, in the job posting. So you see I clicked on application development. So you see it appeared twice in this job description. So in the context that this word is provided in this job posting, you want to take that into account before you start adding it to your resume, because words can be in a different context, and if you don't have experience with it, you'll be lying on your resume if you add it. So I've had experience with application development, but for whatever reason, I did not add it to my resume. So this program helps me by identifying those skills that I actually do have that I forgot to add to my resume.
Yeah. And I mean, all you got to do is say, I do, look, skillsyncer.com.
Exactly. Application development.
Yeah. So I think one of the takeaways here for me on hard skills is there's a lot of words here. Okay. But B, scan them first to make sure that you even have experience in it, because it does you no good. You're not, this section, let me rephrase. This section is not saying, look, if you want to get a higher score, you need to add Chrome to your resume, right? It's saying, make sure you have these skills, or this job description is looking for these skills. If you don't have it, then maybe you really aren't qualified for this role.
Exactly. Well said. And the context as well. So a good example is, I had a really good example. Maybe if I get back to it, I'll come back to it. Okay, security, for instance. If security came up here as a hard skill, you could be talking about cybersecurity, actual physical security.
Yep.
So you want to look at the context in which it is in the job posting, because you don't want to add a keyword that you do not have relevant experience, because when you get that interview and they start asking you questions and they realize that you might have been lying on your resume, that's not going to look good for you. So definitely do not lie on your resume. Don't add these keywords just to make your score higher.
Yeah. And not only will it kill your hopes for that job, but they may put a mark in their system and kill your hopes for any job at that company too. So
exactly. Well said. So we'll go on to the next skills, which is soft skills. So these are, communication, stuff that, not necessarily that you've learned on the job, but you've learned throughout your career, or things that you can take from job to job, whether it be, different industries. You could take communication with you from one job to another. While I'm on soft skills, this brings up a very good point. A lot of people have come up to me and said, you pulled up a skill, communication, but what if I don't have the actual word communication, but I have something that explains my communication? Okay. Which that's great. But what you have to realize are these systems work think of like Google search. You type in communication, it's going to pull up all relevant searches to communication. If you type in some other word that might be similar to communication, that word's going to come up first before communication. So this also goes into how your resume is going to rank between other people. So you want to use it in the same context. Now, some applicant tracking systems actually can tell the difference, like IBM Watson will actually be able to look at text strings and see that soft skill communication can be applied to a certain qualification or some type of measurable result that you have on your resume. But not all ATS systems can distinguish that. So that's to keep that in mind. Other keywords, now these are going to be kind of words that you'll see that Android kind of fell between hard skills and other keywords, because Android you can have this in 2 different contexts. You can have Android as a phone, or you can have Android development. Because if you actually look at Android in here, This is talking about from Google Ads to Chrome to Android to YouTube. So they're looking for people that are familiar with the Android itself, the technology, not necessarily Android programming.
Okay.
So that's good to know in context.
Yeah, and yes, I use an Android phone, for example,
Right.
would not necessarily be something that they would be looking for in this
Exactly.
specifically.
And then these are also words that may have appeared multiple times in the job posting, and that's why they're coming up in this report. These are all the skills that are missing, but as we get further down in the report, you'll actually see that frequency actually applies into the match score. So if application development appeared 5 times and you only had it once, it won't show here as a missing skill, but you'll see when I scroll down that it was counted 5 times in the job posting and only once in your resume. And that actually affects your match score as well. So the frequency, you want to at least match it or beat it.
Okay.
So you'll see here, job title match. Warning, I do not have software engineer in my resume, and it's recommended that the exact title you're applying for is in your resume because recruiters will actually search for that job title. Now, you may have not held a position that explains that software engineer title, because I know a lot of companies are not on par with job titles. So software engineer is pretty generic. So I'm hoping that, companies are on par with that. But I've seen marketing analysts do completely irrelevant jobs to marketing, but their title is a marketing analyst.
Right.
So it's key to, you want to make sure that you have this somewhere. So for instance, I come from a software engineer background, but I'm more or less on the data side. So mine's a data engineer, not a software engineer. But you can actually add in that in your summary that you're looking for a position as a software engineer to expand your skills or whatever. So you want to make sure that you maybe put it in your summary or objective statements. And that affects your score as well. The degree match is the last one that affects your job match report. And this is actually a pretty heavy amount of points for your match score, because if someone's looking for a requirement of a bachelor's degree, the ATS system could possibly kick you out completely if you don't have that degree, which obviously if you don't have that degree, you kind of can't just go get that degree. So it's good to look for jobs that, match your degree requirements, because a lot of employers like to see degree, but sometimes they will add in like a clause that says, or 4 years experience. So you want to look at that in the job description to know that you should either not waste your time because they want someone that has a master's degree or a bachelor's degree and you don't have it, or they're looking for someone with an amount of experience that can replace that. So that's always
Now, will the ATS know, like when they program the ATS for that particular job, then will they know that look for this or?
It's a great question. A lot of ATS systems will not be able to. So if the recruiter puts in there that a requirement is a bachelor's degree and that person doesn't have it, even though the job posting might say it, sometimes too, there are questions after you apply to a position and they'll specifically ask you if you have a degree in this field. And if you click no, that could be a rejection right away.
Okay, yeah. So if you're applying blindly online, then that could be an issue getting past an ATS. But if you're working with a recruiter who can get your resume into the hands of a person first, then that's how you have the opportunity to overcome that or X amount of experience piece.
Right. So the years of experience could go into play.
Okay.
So the next one is a resume report. So this is specifically geared towards your resume. It doesn't affect your match score or anything to do with the match report. So these are kind of common resume issues that just help you improve your overall resume pretty much. So the first piece is word count. A lot of ATS systems might look at word count, and if you don't have enough words or you have too many words, it may not like your resume because they're looking for someone, with only a 1-page resume versus a 2-page or 3-page. And then obviously depending on your experience, it's good to keep it within a page if you're under 10 years, and then 2 pages and more if you're 10 plus 15 years, because you actually have that experience. Plus your resume is usually only your previous 10 years of experience. unless it's really relevant for the position and you want to outline that experience. So it's telling me that my resume is 799 words, which is a little bit over the word count range of 500 to 700 to be on that one page. And then the next checks are your email and phone number. So as you see, I put in a test email and a test phone number, but it's able to pull those out because these are key for newer newer ATS systems will actually pull out and parse this information. So you want to make sure that if my system is seeing it correctly, that you're confident that the ATS system is able to pull that information out. Formatting of a phone number is very important. You don't want to just put all 10 digits next to each other because it's not going to know that's a phone number. So you want to make sure that you keep standard formatting. And you can do a quick Google search on phone number format and stick with that. Accomplishments. These are your quantifiable or measurable accomplishments. So this is kind of just a check to make sure that you have that. I want to add more text into this later to kind of give job seekers a little bit better idea of what this is. And you want to show recruiters and hiring managers not only that you did the position, but how well you did it. So spearheaded for large. So this is just text out of your resume. So it's just pulling out a segment of it. So these are just showing you, actual accomplishments that you've done throughout your career.
Yeah, typically those are going to be your bullet points, right?
Right. So next two sections are word choice and verb choice. So these are very good in getting your resume good clarity because you can see right here it says warning, your resume has 4 words that are not adding relevant value to your resume and should be removed or replaced. So you see I have etc., various, extensive experience, and like. So like is definitely something that you shouldn't have in a resume. It's just not a good word to use. Extensive experience. What do you have extensive experience in? Explain it. Don't say it. Various, same deal. Various. So you'll see here, if I click on it, mine says data migrations of merging millions of records from and to various databases. Well, what databases? You want to add in those databases. So from and to SQL Server, Oracle, you want to list out everything. You want to be as specific as possible so that when a recruiter sees your resume, that they can pull out those keywords easily as well. So various doesn't tell the recruiter any type of database that you worked with. It's not specific enough. So if they were looking for someone that had experience in Oracle databases, don't use various, use Oracle or SQL Server or Teradata, anything that's relevant to that. Etc. etc. goes in hand with various. You don't want to use etc. Put in everything. Don't leave them guessing what kind of experience you have. This is to outline what you have experience in. Don't leave open-ended questions, kind of like that. So that's good.
Yeah, and leave the likes for Facebook.
Right, the likes for Facebook. So verb choice. This is kind of a tougher one because a lot of people don't realize that it's very good to use strong action verbs. So led is not a strong action verb. It doesn't really tell you much. You want to use something like spearheaded. Instead of led a team, I spearheaded a team of analysts. Another word that would come up on here is, not a good choice is helped, because help doesn't say much. What did you actually help with? What more specific action verb can you use to be more definitive, like managed or directed or even fine-tuned? So you don't want to use words that don't explain your action as well as another action verb would. And these are very easy to find. I will be adding these in here, specifically geared towards the word that it pulls up. But you can do a simple search on Google and find strong action verbs to replace the ones that come up on here. So personal pronouns. This is kind of like a hit and miss with some people, but a resume is a document about yourself. So using pronouns is very repetitive and redundant. So you don't want to keep saying I. The person knows that this is about you, so you don't constantly have to be reassuring that you're talking about yourself. Plus, on top of that, it takes up space and adds more words to your resume. Date formatting, this is perfect for ensuring that an ATS system can calculate your experience because recruiters like to have the system automatically calculate your experience rather than going through list of all your jobs and calculate it themselves. So this will alert you if your formatting is incorrect, and also let you know if your formatting is inconsistent. So you don't want to use, abbreviations and then fully spelled out months. You don't want to do anything that would confuse the ATS. So if you use the full month spelled out, use the full month spelled out for every job or every spot that you have the month. And then it will make it a lot easier for the program to extract that data. And you'll see that it shows that I have 10 years of experience.
Yeah,
And that's
good tip.
based on,
Otherwise, it could show you have no experience.
right, and you don't want that. So that completes the resume report. And then this last section here goes hand in hand with the hard skills, soft skills,
Up at the top,
and other keywords. So like I was stating before, I'm a data guy. I love seeing graphs. I love seeing even spreadsheets, which you kind of see here. So this is very important because you can actually see visually which skill is expressed more in the resume. So you want to make sure that you match that number of times or even go over it, but not too much over it, because I have an example below that I want to show. But you'll see here that the gray is the job posting and the blue is your resume. So you can see that there's a ton of improvement that I can do to my resume if I have these hard skills, right?
Yeah.
And you can see engineers appeared 5 times. So software engineering or software engineer position is looking for a keyword engineers.
Huh.
Pretty relevant to a software engineer. And you'll see web application development, mobile application development, and I don't have that on here, but I have experience with it, but maybe I just haven't put it in there, or, because a lot of times you have so much experience, it's kind of hard to put everything on a piece of paper. So when you see this, you're able to pull out those skills.
Well, and the other thing too is you also forget what you've done.
Oh, right.
We as a career, as we go through our careers, we tend to put everything beyond our last performance review kind of in the back of our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a good memory jogger I think, for you to go, oh, you know what? I do have experience with that, because a lot of people underestimate or undervalue the experience they have just because they do it every day. So they don't look at it as, oh, this is a skill that somebody would actually hire me for.
Right. And you might have only used it like once, but you have experience with it. So you want to put it in there.
Right.
And that one time might have been 8 years ago, but it's relevant to the position. So you want to make sure it's in there.
Yep.
So this next example that I'm going to go through is actually what we were talking about before and kind of expressed, but called keyword cramming.
Okay.
So it's kind of where you cram a keyword multiple times into a resume. And
Engineers.
Right.
Engineers.
So you'll see right here in this keyword right here, the blue is my resume. Look how many times I have the word data in here, which the job posting had that word that many times, great, but it doesn't. So this could potentially be a red flag. It could potentially flag me as trying to keyword cram my resume so that the ATS system picks it up. So I kind of want to review where I have data and, kind of reduce the number of times that I've used it, because it might potentially flag you as cramming a keyword and blacklist you. So
that could be
keep
bad.
an eye out for that.
That is no bueno.
And then what I'll do is kind of touch here with this numbers and counting here. So you have your job post counting and your resume count. So what you'll see here on the right-hand side is actually either a check mark, a red X, or an exclamation mark. So the red X means that you're missing that skill completely, and you'll want to make sure that if you at least have experience with it, to add it, because that's going to increase your match score. The check means that you either met the number of times or frequency that that word appeared in the job posting or greater. So you'll see that data was in there 29 times in my resume, but only once in the resume. But it checks it because it lets me know that I have that word in my resume.
Right.
And then the exclamation mark is just letting you know that, hey, this word was used 8 times. You only had it in your resume 4 times. So maybe take a look at your resume and see if you can add it a couple more times somewhere to improve that match similarity. So besides all that, the free account also allows you to rescan your resume against this job posting unlimited amount of times against the same job posting. And this is good because you can actually see how your score improves every time you add a skill. And you're presented here with all the skills that you're missing. And you can see that this was an other skill, a hard skill, soft skill. And you can scroll through here and actually scan or type them in here. So I can go through here and say, okay, I spearheaded 4 large-scale business-to-business data integration, implementing jury and property and tax management software systems, right? To add in software. And then you go ahead and rescan it, and it'll take into account software now. Now you'll notice, if you remember what my score was before, it was very low. It's still going to be very low. I think it was a 36 or 37 before, and it only went up 1 point. It's because I only added one of the keywords, and it takes into account the frequency as well. So if software was in there 8 times and you only added it once, it's not going to improve your score as much as if you added it 8 additional times.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, it's not that you get 1 free a week, but you can use that 1 free one to optimize what you've got too.
Right.
So, perfect.
So that pretty much concludes the high level here. Additionally, you have a history here where you can go back and see all your previous scans. And you can see, with the company and job title, it's very easy to tell which position this was for. And then you can obviously see which score you got on each of those. And then, because I know a lot of people like privacy, you can easily delete a scan. So if you want to remove all your data from my website, all you do is hit the trash can on that scan, and it'll delete your resume and all the information completely from the website.
Especially if you haven't applied for a job in a long time, or you haven't updated a resume in a long time. A lot of things have changed, and this is just a great way to go and kind of double check your own work to make sure that you've done it correctly or even close.
Right.
But I'm also curious too, with the, if I'm a career coach, for example, and one of the things that I do is help people, my clients with resumes. Can I use this program for their resumes as well?
Yeah, so I have no restriction on who can use it and who's it for. I don't have a career coach portal or anything, but you can definitely, anybody can use this for anybody's resume. Feel free to use a free account. It's there for free because I know there's job seekers out there that are unemployed, and some people can't afford the extra money, so that's why I have the free account there for those. Because I know there's a lot of job seekers that are trying to get a position and have been unemployed, or students that have been either just getting into the job market and they have no job, so income is not strong for them. So use the free account for what it's there for. So
yeah, cool, awesome, fantastic, Nick. Thank you very much for your time today. Very impressed. I like the program a lot. I am confident that those who get into the system and use it will like it as well. Any final thoughts as we close out the demonstration portion here today? Anything you'd like to share with the audience? And then also, please tell us what's the best ways for people to reach you.
Sure. So I love innovation. So if anyone comes up with an idea or anything's wrong with the program, feel free to reach out to me. I'm very friendly. If you want to give criticism on the tool or you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. And you can reach out to me either on my LinkedIn profile, Nicholas Francioso. Search me. It'll come up as founder of SkillSyncer.com. Or if you go to SkillSyncer.com, there is a chat function. And the chat function will actually go straight to my phone. So I'll get a notification as soon as you send something. So if you have a question or feedback or any way of wanting to get in touch with me, feel free. Or anybody that's looking for a demo, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to provide a demo.
Awesome. Fantastic. Nick, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day to talk with us today about SkillSyncer, and I wish you the best of luck. And anybody who's watching this and you're curious, even if you're just curious about SkillSyncer, go and sign up for a free account and give it a try. I know I've used it. I think you're going to be very happy with the results that you find. Nick, thanks again. Appreciate it. And best of luck to you and SkillSyncer as you go forward.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for having me. Bye.